What's up, everybody? This is the first episode of the Awesome Life podcast. I'm Lynx.
Mr. Phoenix.
Chocolate Einstein.
We got our special guest in the house, Chocolate Einstein, a.k.a.
Basil Best.
Basil Best.
A.k.a. El Garantizado.
I don't think I've heard El Garantizado. What's
There's
the other one? Emperor
Gromit von Strudel.
That's my personal favorite. Makes me think of toaster strudels.
I got more aliases than the Wu-Tang Clan.
He does. All in one dude. So, yes, Emperor Gromit von Strudel is our special guest for the day. Myself and Mr. Phoenix over here will be your regular hosts. We're two members of a hip-hop group. What's it called? I forget.
Team Awesome.
Team Awesome. So, yeah, we do our thing on the SoundCloud, YouTube, everything, where you probably be listening to this. You could also listen to our music. And I'm probably going to put some of our music in the intro so you guys get a little taste. What are we up to? What's going on, bro?
Right now,
Monday night,
we're podcasting for the first time.
That's what we're doing?
I think that's what we're doing.
I think so. I like it.
So let me pick your brain, because this is the mad scientist Lynx idea. What made you decide to do a podcast?
All right, so here's what happened. I was fucking this. No, I'm just kidding. I feel like every story should start like that.
I wish every story started like that.
I wish every story ended like that, personally. Shit. All of my stories, anyway. But
where were you fucking her?
In the earth.
Right in the pussy.
That's the answer. Fuck, I fucked up.
That's why we brought Chocolate Einstein.
I fucked up. No, so it was like, I've been hearing about podcasts for a long time, and I never really cared. And then, like the beginning of the year, I started listening to them. And I like when I was at work, because I used to work early as fuck, like 6 a.m. before any customers were even in the store. When I worked at Sports Authority, I was just like looking for new shit just to keep me occupied. And I'm a huge wrestling fan. CM Punk's my favorite wrestler. I have a tattoo on my forearm for him because I love him.
We know this.
And well, they don't know.
Okay.
I love CM Punk. How you guys know? But I hope he's listening. But anyway, so. I ended up finding an interview with CM Punk on the podcast WTF with Mark Maron. Mark Maron's a comedian, and WTF's like one of the biggest podcasts out there. And so I listened to that one.
Next to us.
And yeah. And then I started listening to like other comedians' podcasts, and I started listening to wrestling podcasts. And I don't know, I found it really interesting. I don't know, it's just people talking, like just talking about shit. Like it's just what basically what you would do on a daily basis with your boys anyway. And I know we have had moments where we've had conversations and we're like, people need to hear this, even though it probably wasn't that awesome anyway. But it was like, that's what a podcast is. You're just talking shit. And in this case, it's just talking shit with your boys.
So, Chocolate. Can I call you Chocolate?
Only ladies call me Chocolate.
All right. Can I call you Mr. Einstein?
Sure.
So Einstein. Have you ever listened to podcasts?
I have listened to a few podcasts in my time.
You strike me as a podcast type.
Not very many. I've been recommended a lot, but I've only just listened. I've never gotten through a whole podcast. I listen to about 10, 15 minutes, chew over the information in my head, and then I'm on my way.
I listened to one podcast.
What was it?
It was a Kingdom Hearts podcast. I love Kingdom Hearts. That's my love. He's got CM Punk. I got Kingdom Hearts.
There's a whole, like, was it one episode of a podcast about Kingdom Hearts? It's a legit Kingdom Hearts podcast?
They have like 160 of them already, like, and I'm not.
Were they just talking about Kingdom Hearts?
It's Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy.
Oh, okay.
So,
Final Fantasy, that's
Square
enough
Enix,
content.
the Square Enix podcast.
I was going to say, because Kingdom Hearts has, like, what, 6 of those games?
Yeah.
And you just do a whole podcast on 6 games?
Yeah, no. It's mostly about Square Enix, and they talk about other video game topics, too.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, but I was only able to survive one.
I feel you. It's not for everybody. Hopefully it's for enough people, though. But, yeah, that's another thing I'd like to get into at some point. Video games. Be all... nerdy.
Super Smash Brothers?
Oh, can't wait for the new one.
Listen, to all you listeners out there, yes, I said listen.
All of you.
All
7 of you guys.
I don't know how many of you there are, but for the last 2 months, we've been playing Super Smash Brothers Brawl nonstop. We're anticipating this game like the second coming of Christ.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get professional. You're gonna enter us some tournaments.
Yes, we're gonna get ranked
Try to make
in the top 100. Please believe.
Please believe me.
Hashtag Mr. Phoenix.
It sounds like fun. Well, why are they gonna hashtag? You don't go on your Twitter anyway. You haven't posted on that bitch in like 2 years, bro.
There's a change. I just got a new haircut.
Oh, he got a new haircut. He did get a new haircut.
New life.
New haircut.
About to get a new house. I'm recently single, so any of you ladies looking for tall, dark, and handsome. Not really that tall, but I'm pretty handsome. But anyways, and I'm not that dark. But
so you're just handsome.
Yeah. So yeah.
1 out of 3 ain't bad.
It ain't bad.
Exactly.
You got something.
So recently single, got a new haircut. I've had a mohawk for 5 years, and I just recently cut it off. Now I look like plain Jane, but I look like a respectable man in society now.
I feel you. I like 2 weeks ago, whatever it was. I've had long hair for like 14 years probably, and then it's like long past my nipples, and then I just cut that bitch off. Ain't nothing to cut my hair off.
So Basil, how long you been growing your hair? I see you have you're sporting dreads.
Yeah, about 3 years. It's been locked up about a year and a half now.
3 years.
Shit.
Yeah. I ain't cutting it off.
ain't nothing cut that.
I feel
bitch
like
off?
Eventually, one day. I'm not saying never.
Yeah.
But
I feel like
for right now, I feel like I'm early in the process.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, you gotta have long dreads.
I see dudes with mad long dreads, and I'm like, yo, like you worked so hard to get those. You should never cut them off. Yeah. That shit is crazy.
I mean, it's just hair; it grows back. So
that's true. But I knew this dude. I think I was working at Greenleafs, and he came in and I can't remember what he did. He might have been like one of the vendors. He'd bring like some of the food or whatever. And he had the longest dreads. He said they took him 19 years to grow. They were like down to his ankles.
Damn.
Wow.
Growing his hair for
That's
19
years.
Hell yeah.
That's the Rapunzel of dreads.
That's crazy. That takes some serious dedication too, because it don't look like an easy process either. Looks like it gets annoying sometimes.
I don't know. A lot of times you can just let it chill. If anything, it's kind of the easiest hairstyle. Because you can neglect it, or not neglect it, but you cannot.
That's true.
Do anything.
You
to
look
it.
like you neglect your hair. No, I'm just playing.
You cannot do anything to it, and it'll still looks good if you're going for that natural look.
I feel you. So we were gonna mention this at the beginning, but we got caught up talking about haircuts. But literally right before we went to record this podcast, we might be the first podcast to mention this. Too bad we don't have dedicated fan base.
Hashtag first, nigga.
But yeah, my mom texted me, and every time something goes on in like pop culture, my mom texts me, even if it's shit I don't care about. But I guess that's what moms do. But she texted me and told me that Robin Williams was found dead of a possible suicide.
We just lost a soldier to the
Hashtag
struggle.
first, nigga.
Robin Williams is my dude. I don't know, like we're all. I mean, you guys were born in the late '80s, but I think we all consider ourselves '90s kids, like. And so we were there for like his '90s resurgence, if you will.
Mrs. Doubtfire is my jam,
bro. We gotta watch that tonight.
Good movie.
Yeah, Jumanji was my shit. Chocolate brought up Dead Poet Society. That movie is so good. If you've never seen Dead Poet Society, oh Captain, my Captain, you gotta see it.
Never seen it.
It's so good.
Never seen it.
Really
I never seen Hook either. I
good.
seen Patch Adams.
I don't think I've seen Patch
Flubber.
Adams. Flubber.
Jumanji.
Yeah, I seen Jumanji.
My shit.
And
another one is Suicide.
Another
Come
possible,
on.
yeah. I mean, I know he had like a lot of because I actually heard him on WTF, the other podcast, our rival now. He interviewed Robin Williams, like one of his first big episodes, and he said that he had like cause all throughout the 70s and stuff, he did like cocaine and he had alcohol problems and stuff, and then he relapsed in like 2009 or 2010 or something like that. So he was like, I think he was sober for a while, but maybe like maybe that shit caught up to him.
In the article I read, it said that he was going through severe depression and he's been going through it for a while.
Damn.
So. It's like, not to get sidetracked, but it's just amazing how all these celebrities that they get into these funks.
It's crazy.
They're on top of Mount Olympus and then they just get into these depressions.
The thing that what I would think it was, specifically in the case of Robin Williams, is to go so high. Like, I mean, he's won at least one Academy Awards. I know he's been nominated a couple of times, but he won for Goodwill Hunting, and just to go so high, and then he's not like. I think once you get to like legendary status, like you're a legend, but you're not like relevant in the same way that like current stars are. You know what I mean? So I think that could probably play into like bringing on a depression. Like the spotlight's kind of off of you. Like even though you're a legend now, you're not like everybody's not like, oh man,
you're an
Robin
A-lister,
Williams,
but you're on the bottom of the A-list.
Basically, yeah.
There's a saying or a quote that goes along the lines that it's better to be sad. It's better to be sad and poor than to be sad and rich, because then you have the belief that money. Because while you're poor, you have the belief that money will solve all your problems, or even fame will solve all your problems. But when you're rich
and famous
and you're depressed, and there's no money or no amount of money or fame can solve your problems, where do you go from there?
It's like you that's
nothing
probably
to be hopeful for.
That's probably that's probably like the ultimate hopelessness. Like because you have when you're broke, that's the shit that drives you. Like, oh, it's cool because when I get this, I'm gonna
have money. Yeah, I'm gonna have women. I'm gonna have cars.
Exactly.
I'm gonna have people gonna know me.
And then you get there and you realize like you're still you're still depressed. Like it's like
or
what
if you are still because not. Like, let's say you get there and you are still depressed. Where do I go from
exactly?
there?
Like, what's gonna fix it? I thought this was gonna fix it, and now it's not. And then I would imagine, that's where being depressed with all that money, like, and that status, you can get access to whatever the fuck you want.
What's another celebrity that in the last couple of years committed suicide? I can't think of.
Like intentional or like overdose?
Well, I know Heath Ledger was an accidental overdose.
I was gonna say Philip Seymour Hoffman, who passed away earlier this year, but I don't think it was intentional. I think he OD'd.
Yeah, a lot of celebrities OD.
You may not know who this is. I don't know if you had. Guy? I don't know if you had cable back in the day. Oh, we'll get into sports
I had
guy,
it, but it got cut off.
So it's from a Disney show original series, The Famous Jet Jackson. He committed suicide.
I never watched The Famous Jet Jackson.
Lee Thompson Young.
But I'm a big fan of Scrubs, and towards the end of the show, I think he was on for like 2 seasons, and so that's where I know him from.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, he was only like 29.
Yeah, man.
That's even.
He suffered from crazy depression.
That's rough. And he was young, and he was a good-looking dude. Like he was in shape and everything. Like you would think he's like just living just on top of the world.
He had another show called like.
He was on Rizzoli and Isles. Yeah. That's what he was on. Yeah.
Yeah, they just got signed for another season, so he was doing things, and then he committed suicide.
That's crazy.
Sports and suicide. A couple years ago, Junior Seau killed himself. He used to be a linebacker for the Chargers, for the Dolphins, for Patriots.
Yeah.
He's actually one of the best linebackers.
And he was around for what?
18 years.
18
Holy
seasons?
shit.
18 seasons.
Did he never was he just kind of like part of the pack? Like was he like just kind of a dude in the background, or was he a star?
He was a star.
Yeah.
Probably for the first 10 years of his career.
He was in the top
5.
Oh, okay.
And then as he started to decline physically, he was always signed to a team and starting because he was intelligent enough to play it.
Even if he was physically not.
Yeah, different. Just altered his game.
Yeah.
That's.
When did he kill himself? The season afterwards, or 2 seasons?
It might be a year after he stopped playing.
Damn, that's.
But
he retired.
Yeah, he
and
retired.
Then killed himself.
Yeah,
that's.
But here's the thing, like they're because he's not the only football player to do it.
Yeah.
They're saying that the depression may come from constant head trauma. People who have multiple concussions are more susceptible to depression.
Definitely.
They're doing like this whole study on it.
I'm sure you guys. It was 7 years ago. Chris Benoit, the pro wrestler.
Yeah.
He killed himself and he killed his wife and his kid. And
7 years ago, really?
2007, bro.
Wow.
He was one of my favorites. And then they've done a bunch of studies on him, and they said that the constant head trauma they did a study on his brain tissue, and he had the brain of an 85-year-old Alzheimer's patient because he just had so many concussions over the years and so much trauma. So a lot
of wrestlers have killed themselves also.
Oh,
too, right?
yeah, dude. Guerrero, but a lot of it's like who'd you say?
Eddie Guerrero.
Oh well, he actually had previous drug and alcohol issues, and then he died of heart failure after. But But no, a bunch of like former ones. But I mean, a lot of that is like he said, the physicality. But then there's again ties back into drugs, and I think a lot of it, like as far as like the guy you guys were talking about, I think just the decline, like being like this top guy, and like this supreme athlete, and then just seeing yourself kind of
walking away from the game. Yeah. After putting in 18 years, that's a rough transition. And it wasn't like it was on his own will. He probably wanted to continue playing. It's one thing when you make the decision to stop playing, and then another thing when someone tells you you're just not good enough.
Exactly.
And remember, when you're a professional athlete, a lot of times you start playing sports for professional or start playing organized sports at 4 years old, little league, 5 years old. So that's all you know, and you've been gearing your whole life as a little kid to be a professional athlete. You probably have no sense of what you're going to do afterwards. Exactly. And even afterwards, you try and
give you a perfect example.
You try and find something to do, but it doesn't live up to performing at a sport at its highest level. You know, football may have been his life, and now that he isn't able to do that anymore, you know, he just couldn't cope.
On that topic, I got you brought up an excellent topic, chocolate. That's a tongue twister. Excellent topic, chocolate. See, I can't even do it. There was a movie, a great movie. The main actor was Morgan Freeman. God bless his soul.
Be good.
Shawshank Redemption.
Oh yeah.
When the one dude gets out after like 50 years incarcerated, he didn't know what to do with himself.
Yep, because all he knew was jail.
Jail. And didn't he kill himself?
He killed himself, yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, he hung himself. So, I mean, think of it like that. You know, you've been in the system of organized team sports your entire life. And then, I'm sure the concussions have something to do with it.
To it for sure.
But, like, you know,
definitely
drove him over there.
That's what a lot of in the case of the wrestlers, like he mentioned, a lot of them, you know, have died young because of suicide and drugs and stuff like that. And that's why a lot of the guys, like, they'll say that you can't make it your whole existence. Like, you got to have a life outside of it. You can't just make it just, you know, your sport all the time. That's all you do and all you think about. You got to have a separate life so that when it comes, because you can't do that shit forever. Like, you can do music forever. Like, James Brown did music up until the fucking day he died, you know? And you can't do that with sports, though. You gotta, you know, you have a, I can't think of the word I'm looking for. You have an expiration date, basically.
You can play or perform in sports, but not on the highest level, like, you know,
exactly.
People are used to.
I mean, at a certain point, it's just not safe anymore.
Another, people who graduate from get their doctorates, PhDs, usually they have really high suicide rates, and they're on suicide watch because they've been going to school so long, it's all they know, and they've dedicated their whole life to schooling, and once they're done, it's like, what do I do now?
Exactly.
Shoot, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, like, that's like human nature. Like, you always want to be striving for something, and then if you're striving for something all these years and you get it, it's like, what?
It's the only
thing
you
do.
It's the only goal you've been working towards.
Exactly.
And you accomplish it. What do you do next?
Exactly.
So you have the accomplishment factor. You reach that. You have the you know, nothing to hope for past once you've you obtain this greatness, and if you're sad, you have nothing to, you know, go past that.
Yeah.
And then, like, I lost my train of thought here. It happens. It
does.
Take over.
I was gonna say, because we're like getting really deep into like the sports world, but with Robin Williams, I think another factor could possibly be his age. I mean, he's like
only 60.
I think he's 70.
No, it was either 63 or 67.
Is he? Oh,
I can't remember.
yeah, he's like 60 something. But I mean, maybe this is just coming from the mind of somebody that's 23. But I would imagine getting older like could make you depressed. I mean, you know, things are kind of, I don't want to say falling apart, but like things are changing. So I mean, some good obviously, but I would imagine there's a lot of bad that comes with it, and then just that on top of everything else that he's had to deal with.
Another thing to add to it is suicide rates are pretty high amongst the general population too. Amongst all age groups, people commit suicide. So it's, I mean, we get highlighted when celebrities do it and we take notice, but it's not like other people aren't committing suicide. And along all socioeconomic scales, doesn't matter your race or how much money you're making or what your job is, people kill themselves.
Tell you right now, I've been working at Right Choice Pools for 2 years now.
Shout out Right Choice Pools.
Yes, buy a pool from me.
Please.
Buy a pool from Mr. Phoenix.
Because Lord knows we ain't making money off this podcast.
Yeah, not yet. Not yet. But
buy a pool and then listen to this podcast in your pool.
Sign free podcast episode.
So
every pool.
But anyways, I've been working there for 2 years, and I become pretty much part of the family. So I know their children, and their daughters went to a school called Douglas, and since I've known them, there's been 5 suicides in that school, in a 2-year period. 5
Holy
suicides.
Shit.
That's pretty.
5 in a 2-year period.
5 in one school. That's
just
one school. Yeah.
Damn, dude. So you're talking 14 to 18-year-olds, basically. Shit.
But also when something like that happens, it influences other people.
That's true. I've read that. Like, suicides will spike. Like, when a celebrity suicide is announced to the public, suicide rates will spike.
Because they have something to relate to, I guess?
I think partially, and I think it's kind of like, well, it almost, I don't want to use the word motivates, but kind of, like, I think in a way it's like, okay, well, people are doing it,
It justifies.
In a sense.
If the celebrity is willing to kill themselves.
This guy with all this money and status can do it, then me sitting here in my shitty apartment, like, I got nothing to hope for.
Yeah, but like it's just sad that like there needs to be more suicide prevention and talk, because like from my understanding, one of the girls was a friend of my boss's daughter, and basically the girl committed suicide over a boyfriend.
Damn, I've heard stories like that too.
Like guy, cheated on her, and then she committed suicide. Like,
yeah, in a relationship like at 16 years old.
Yeah,
and she's gonna have tons more.
Exactly. It's like a waste of life. And then like another one, the girl was gonna be valedictorian. She was, she had a record for her school in cross country. She played like 3 sports. She had amazing grades, and she was good looking, but committed suicide out of nowhere.
It might be for that one. Might be expectations are too high. She might have placed crazy expectations on herself and didn't feel like she could live up to those.
Was there like a note or any kind of motive?
Nah, she just was in the closet. She hung herself in the closet.
I would imagine it's probably I would think expectations like all the way up, and then basically she's basically at the top of her game in high school, and then you go to college and it's like bottom of the ladder and you got to start all over. Bottom of the totem pole.
Like she might have seen her whole life changing, coming, or her whole life about to change, and that was coming towards her, and she didn't know how to adapt.
And that's a rough time too. I mean, you're losing friends, people are moving away, and
change is. I'm not gonna lie. Change.
I would imagine change is a big factor in a lot of.
Change freaks me out sometimes.
Freaks me out all the time.
Consistency is something that you can expect. Change is, change is imminent. It's gonna happen.
Abrupt change. I think is like
when you're caught off guard.
Yeah. But I mean, even still, like you said, if she was, if it was because of the expectations of going to college, I mean, she had time to think about it. And
she was only a junior though, like.
Oh, she wasn't.
Or no, she was a senior. That was the valedictorian. The other one was a junior.
Oh, okay. But yeah, I mean, that change is scary. I think that could be a part of it. Like we said, that goes back to what we were talking about originally with Robin Williams, like the change of basically being all the way up and now just kind of being, the old guy who's not like the current star. I think he had a show. I think he has a show on CBS that he was. I can't remember what it's called, but. I don't know if they got another season.
Yes, I remember.
Did it get canceled?
I think it got canceled. They said after 1 season.
Yeah, that's
the thing that's real unfortunate with Robin Williams is that he was such a good guy. He was respected by a lot of people.
He was.
He did a lot of philanthropy, was a big activist, and he brought up a lot of points, a lot of necessary or important criticism to areas that needed to be criticized, and he kind of was very socially involved, and it's unfortunate that someone like that,
definitely, and it sucks, like, because you see it a lot with like comedians tend to have just a high suicide rate in general, and it's sad, like, that these are the people that spend their whole lives making other people laugh when inside they're just like falling apart, which I think could possibly play into maybe him not wanting to find help. He's like, I'm the guy like that brings this joy. How would people feel if they knew I was feeling this way? So it's just a sad story all around.
I think to lighten up the mood real quick, I think he suffered from there's a show called SpongeBob SquarePants. I think he suffered from
Where the hell are you going with this?
He suffered from the Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy syndrome.
Oh,
I think that's
the past star, and
now he's just a shell of his former self.
It's sad. It's another one. It seems like there's been a lot more in the last 5 years. A lot of
celebrity
deaths. There's a new celebrity death like every month, man. It's like just hitting.
I think it's not that it's more common, but as we're getting older, we're starting to recognize these celebrities. Whereas before, celebrities were always dying and we didn't know who they were or what their claim to fame was. But sense. Now it's celebrities we can identify with.
That's true.
As they pass away, we can their names stick out to us because we know what we did.
That we knew.
Because there's still people who pass away all the time and you don't know their names.
He told me today that I didn't even realize this guy died. Uncle Phil from Fresh Prince. I didn't know he died 3 years ago.
A couple years ago.
2 years ago.
I think it was this year.
It was this
was it
I
this
think
year?
It was early. I think so.
I know it was recently.
Yeah, I think it was earlier this year.
I didn't even know it.
Yeah, but it's sad, but
Isaac Hayes died this year also.
He did.
Shaft.
Oh.
Yeah. And he did Chef in South Park.
He did Chef, yeah.
Another soldier.
That's sad.
A celebrity death that had me really sad, like even sadder than Michael Jackson. I don't know, man. Bernie Mac when he went.
Oh, hell yeah! Because another thing, like right back to what you were saying, he's just a good dude. Like he just seemed like an all around. Everybody that talked about him, he's like the nicest guy ever.
I heard he used to whip out a grill on set and just start
barbecuing bro.
Food.
And
you want some?
Hell yeah! And he was like a steady climb to the top. Like he didn't make it till he was like 32, 33. Like that dude paid his fucking dues, and he was just a nice guy. He was always humble.
And how did he die?
He had
like pneumonia. He
had a condition.
Yeah,
I can't remember what his condition was, but he had like a pre-existing condition, and then I think it went into remission. It wasn't cancer, but I can't think the fucking name of it. And then it came back, and then I think he got pneumonia, and I think he had like a complication related to pneumonia and whatever his condition was. Because I think it might have been a lung condition.
Yeah.
And then the two just kind of, came together.
Know all about lung conditions. But anyways, on to another topic. And we're talking about some pretty morbid stuff. But
rest in peace, Robin Williams.
The Tony Stewart story.
Yes, he just showed us the video a second ago. That's nuts.
That's pretty crazy.
That guy, he shouldn't have done that. He shouldn't have run out like that.
Yeah, getting on a track with fast moving cars is a bad idea.
Exactly, and he of all people should know that. He's
a professional racer. I know Tony Stewart might have cut him off, and you want to be mad. Get mad after the race is over.
Exactly.
You punch him in the face if you have to.
Exactly.
You don't put your life in danger.
Exactly. You survived the wreck, of when your car got cut off, and you should have just taken that as a win.
As a win,
and walked
that's
away.
A W right
like
there.
You said, punch him in the face afterwards if you got to, but that's just crazy.
I mean, I don't think Tony Stewart wanted to run him over.
No, of course not.
A lot of people are speculating that it was on purpose.
I read that too. I mean, that just seems stupid. I mean, there's cameras, there's fucking a million witnesses.
None of the other cars moved out of the way. None of the other cars.
One car kind of. Well, he waited for the cars to come out of the way, and then he jumped. He got in front of Tony Stewart.
He dodged one car.
Yeah.
He dodged one car.
I don't know how fast these cars are going, but if he's in the way, I'm sure they can't just stop.
When they're on, I mean? When there's a wreck, they put on these yellow lights. It's a caution thing. Yeah. They go about half speed.
Oh yeah.
They slow down tremendously.
So after he got cut off and kind of wrecked.
Yeah, they weren't going fast. They were going about between 40 and 60 miles per hour instead of their normal like 120.
That's still too fast to stop.
I feel like if Tony Stewart wanted to kill him too, he would have hit him straight up. He would have hit him head on. It looked more like a freak accident.
He caught him like kind of on the side and just like dragged him out or something.
Yeah, pulled him underneath from like the back tire.
Shit. Did he die instantly?
Yeah.
Was he just done at the end?
Yeah, he was done. He's pronounced dead on the ambulance.
Jesus, man, that's crazy. That's
he was stuck under the car for a couple milliseconds and launched.
And then thrown.
And there's sheet metal.
Oh yeah, that's true.
With the speed the car's going for him to be sucked under.
Yeah.
Here's the thing: if that was a NASCAR and they hit him,
he would have went over.
He would have been fine. I mean, he would have been fucked up.
Yeah.
But he would have probably survived. You can't get sucked under that because there's nowhere for it to.
Room.
Yeah.
Exactly.
He would have went airborne.
What are the cars? Like, what kind of race was
They're
it?
like dirt box cars or whatever, or something
like they had like you said, in a NASCAR, like there's no way you're getting under that. But the design of whatever he was driving, like definitely was.
And there's sheet metal under there, so he got cut up by it.
So he got cut up.
He got laceration
and then thrown.
Yes.
I mean, that's just
thrown like a good 15, 20 feet.
That's just all kinds of bad.
No.
That's sad. That's a sad one too. But I don't know.
This podcasting, I gotta say, this podcasting thing's pretty cool.
I think we've gotten comfortable. We've gotten comfortable with it.
I think we gotta.
Do we gotta wrap it up?
Yeah, pretty soon.
That's cool.
There's a train coming.
We'll just do a short one. We got a 30-minute one. That's straight. We'll have it figured out for sure next time. This was kind of we kind of winged it this time.
This is like the prequel.
Yeah, exactly.
This is the prologue rather.
Cool.
But it was fun rocking with you guys.
I liked it. We'd like to thank our special guest, Chocolate Einstein.
We will be inviting you back.
For sure. Have some long conversations about hip hop. I love talking with this guy.
There are so many topics we need to talk. We need to talk about movies.
Black Jesus.
Yeah. Oh man,
Jesus.
can we spare 5 minutes for Black Jesus?
Can we riff on Black Jesus?
What time you gotta go?
I gotta be there by 9, but I want to get there a little early.
He wants to get there a little early.
The
anti-Miguel syndrome. Okay, gotcha. So again, this is Mr. Phoenix. Thank you for joining us on the Awesome Life podcast.
Chocolate Einstein, thank you for joining us, and thank you guys for inviting me.
You got it, bro. You got to come back soon. I guess have some long conversations. I'm Lynx. We're out. I think that's it.
Take care.
That's a wrap.